Hey there, folks. Let me take you back to a day that turned my world upside down. A day that started like any other, but ended with me questioning everything I thought I knew. My name's Angela Harris, and I'm a retired federal prosecutor from Chicago, 62 years young, with a career built on chasing justice through courtrooms thick with tension. But nothing cold VE prepared me for what went down on Horizon Air Flight 419, somewhere over the Midwest, back in the spring of 2024. I was just settling into my seat, 12B, on a flight to Seattle to visit my daughter, Lisa, and my granddaughter, Mia, who was probably elbow deep in some glittery art project waiting for Grandma Angie. I had my trusty leather briefcase, a beat-up old thing from my days at Northwestern Law, stuffed with case files that still haunted me. One in particular, State v. Thompson, from 20 years back, kept me up at night. A robbery case that landed a man, Marcus Thompson, behind bars for life. I'd always had this nagging feeling we'd missed something, but that's a story for later. For now, picture me, sipping bad airplane coffee, trying to ignore the guy in 12C hogging the armrest like he owned the plane. Typical flight, right? Until it wasn't. About an hour in, the cabin's humming along, babies fussing, folks scrolling their phones when crack. A sound like a whip cuts through the air. I feel it before I even register what happened, a stinging pain across my cheek, sharp and humiliating. I look up, and there's Captain Daniel Pierce, the pilot, standing over me, his face twisted with something ugly, something I'd seen too many times in courtrooms, in depositions, in the eyes of people who thought they could put me in my place because of my skin. "You don't belong in first class," he snarls, loud enough for everyone to hear, his hand still hovering like he's daring me to react. The cabin goes dead silent. 200 pairs of eyes are on me, and I feel that old, familiar burn, not just from the slap, but from the weight of every microaggression, every sidelong glance, every, "you're not supposed to be here." I've fought my whole life. My hand's shaking, but I grab my phone, locking eyes with Pierce. I've faced down mob bosses and corrupt cops. This guy doesn't scare me. "You've got 5 seconds to step back," I say, my voice low, steady, the kind I use to pin defendants in court. "Or I make a call that ends your career." He laughs, a nasty, dismissive chuckle, but I see a flicker of doubt in his eyes. The passengers are watching, some horrified, some nodding like they're with me. There's this young woman, Kayla, with neon green hair and a lip ring, who whispers, "Get him, lady." That's when I know this isn't just about me. It's about every person who's been slapped down, literally or not, by someone like Pierce. 6 hours earlier, I'm weaving through O'Hare, dodging harried travelers and overpriced coffee stands. I'm chatting with a gate agent, Maria, who always remembers my name, tossing around light banter about her kids' college apps. It's the kind of normal that grounds you, you know? But now, back on the plane, that normal's gone. Pierce's hand on my shoulder feels like a power play, his sneer screaming prejudice louder than words. The air's thick, tense, like everyone's holding their breath, waiting for what's next. And then, turbulence hits hard. The plane lurches, oxygen masks drop, and people scream. Kayla's gripping my hand so tight her nails dig in, her tough girl vibe crumbling as she mutters, "Is this normal?" I'm calming her down, helping her with her mask, when I spot a woman a few rows up clutching her chest, gasping. I call out to a flight attendant, Jamal, a young guy with a calm that cuts through the chaos. "She needs help," I shout, and he's on it, radioing for a doctor. A gray-haired guy, a cardiologist, jumps up, working fast to stabilize her as the plane dives toward an emergency landing in Kansas City. We hit the tarmac, paramedics rush in, and the woman's whisked away. Pierce's voice crackles over the intercom, all professional now, apologizing for the scare, saying we're grounded for 3 hours for a safety check. Kayla, trying to lighten the mood, grins and says, "Guess we're stuck together, Angie. Want to split an overpriced airport burger?" I laugh, despite everything, and we head to a terminal cafe, where I'm sipping black coffee and she's tearing into a cinnamon roll the size of her head. We're really talking about life, family, the grind of being a black woman in a world that's quick to judge. She's in tech, says it's all diversity initiatives on paper, but not in the room. I tell her about Lisa, Mia, and how this trip's my chance to be Grandma Angie for a bit, not just the tough prosecutor. But then, as we're heading back to the gate, Jamal catches me. "MS. Harris, he says, handing me a folded note. Captain Pierce asked me to give you this. My stomach drops. I unfold it, and there it is, in sharp, angular handwriting. I need to talk to you about Thompson. Meet me in the cockpit during boarding. Captain D. Pierce. Thompson. Marcus Thompson. The case that's haunted me for 2 decades. How does this pilot know about a case buried in legal archives? My mind's racing as I board, ignoring the voice telling me to stay put. I head to the cockpit, where Pierce is waiting, his face unreadable. Close the door, he says. I hesitate. Post 9/11. This is a red flag, but I do it. You mentioned Thompson, I say, cutting to the chase. How do you know about that case? He leans back, eyes hard. I know Marcus Thompson's innocent. And I know you're reviewing his case because of new evidence. My heart stops. That review was confidential, known only to a few at the Justice Department. How do you know this? I press, my voice ice. He takes a breath, then drops the bomb. Because my brother, Nathan Pierce, committed those robberies. I've known for 20 years and said nothing while an innocent man rotted in prison. I'm reeling. Nathan Pierce, a name that came up briefly during the investigation, dismissed when witnesses couldn't pin him. Your brother's been dead for 10 years, I say, remembering the file. Car crash, right? He nods, jaw tight. That's why I can talk now. No one left to protect. I've got proof audio of Nathan confessing, photos of stolen goods, a letter he wrote to Thompson but never sent. It's all on this. He hands me a USB drive, small but heavy with secrets. I take it, my mind spinning. This makes you an accessory. I say, my prosecutor's instincts kicking in. You let a black man take the fall because witnesses mixed up 2 black men with similar builds. He doesn't flinch, just nods. I know what I am. I saw your name on the manifest and knew it was time. I'm retiring soon. I want to face this, even if it means jail. The cockpit feels like it's closing in, every word a hammer to the system I've served my whole life. I pocket the USB, promising nothing, knowing this could unravel decades of lies. Back in my seat, Kayla's chatting about spotting a TikTok star in the terminal, but I'm barely listening. The USB's burning a hole in my pocket. Mid-flight, she gets serious, asking, ever regret a case? Ever think you got it wrong? It's like she's reading my soul. I tell her about Thompson, how new evidencia witness recanting, saying she was pressured started this whole thing. If he's innocent, she says, can you fix it? I nod, but it's hollow. You can't give back 20 years. We land in Seattle, and as passengers shuffle off, I catch Pierce's eye. A nod, a promise we're not done. But then trouble. A guy in a fancy suit, Mr. Grayson, is yelling at Jamal, calling him out for ignoring first-class passengers, his tone dripping with entitlement. This is discrimination, he barks, looming over Jamal. I step in, my voice sharp. It's not discrimination when someone's just doing their job. Pierce steps out, shuts Grayson down cold. All customers matter, but respect for my crew is non-negotiable. Grayson storms off, muttering, but the moment's a reminder. Prejudice doesn't need a cockpit to thrive. 3 weeks later, I'm in a Chicago federal office, facing Marcus Thompson, now 50, his face carved with the pain of 20 years lost. Across from me is Sarah Kim from the Innocence Project, fierce and young, and my boss, James Carter, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Pierce is there too, in a suit, not his uniform, his confession laid bare. Thompson speaks, his voice steady but heavy. I lost my wife, my son, my mother, all thinking I was a monster. I apologize, my voice cracking, but he cuts me off. You were the face of my pain, MS. Harris, but you're also the one who helped fix it. I hand in my resignation that day, not because I'm running, but because I owe it to him, to myself, to step away. I tell them I'm joining the Innocence Project to fight for others like Thompson. Sarah nods, impressed. Pierce admits he's quit the airline, trying to atone through community work. Thompson's getting a settlement, reconnecting with his son, but no money can erase the past. Months later, I'm in a Seattle cafe with Kayla, her hair now blue, her energy still infectious. You're a badass, Angie, she says, sipping a latte. I laugh, but I'm different now. Working with the Innocence Project, I'm unlearning decades of assumptions, fighting a system that resists admitting it's wrong. Every case is a battle, every win a step toward balancing the scales. But I wonder, can we ever truly fix what's broken? Was my resignation enough, or just a gesture? Should Pierce face charges, or is his confession redemption enough? And what about folks like Grayson, who wield privilege like a weapon? How do we change that? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think justice looks like. Is it retribution, reform, or something else? Hit that like button, share this story, and let's keep this conversation going.